More details about the Amazon God of War TV series is starting to come out, and though my friend Adam, the Renaissance Nerd, go check out his channel. Um, he doesn't think the show's gonna be good. Jed doesn't think the show's gonna be good. Hollywood Scholar. A lot of people don't think the show's gonna be good. Now, I don't think the show's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be awful. It's being made by Amazon, even though Santa Monica Studios is actively involved. All that being said, the people connected to this show, I don't have faith in. So it's a mixed bag. Until we see a trailer, I don't know what's going to happen unless leaks come out and they all get corroborated. This is going to be interesting. I know before I said this could be huge for Amazon, but then you also remind yourself that, hey, this is going to be taking place during the 2018 series. It's a mixed bag. I don't know what's going to happen. I kind of lean with Adam here and Jed that it's going to be possibly bad, but I do have to say Santa Monica is involved, so it could be good. Amazon's God of War TV series will be incredibly true to the source material. We think it's going to be huge, says Amazon Studios head of television. I don't know how huge it's going to be. And what you guys want it to do, the only way it can, well, yeah, it could do what you guys want it to do, but it's not, it could also very much hurt your show if you do what it want it to do. It was announced last week that the company had officially greenlit a series. Oh, this is Amazon. Greenlit a series based on the flagship Sony Interactive Entertainment franchise. The show will follow the events of 2018's God of War series reboot. That's part of the problem. Now, 2018's God of War series and Ragnarok have taken Kratos in a different way, a way that I kind of like. There's complaints here and there, and I think they're valid, but he is a more damaged individual. He is more concerned with everything. He loves his son. He's finally settling down, has a life, but at the same time is worried about what his son's doing and worried about not losing himself because he cares about his son. He does have love for his son. It's a unique take on Kratos. It is a change for Kratos. I think it does continue a overall story for the character. That being said, you're now plopping him in the second half of his life versus the start of his life where you're not going through, hey, you know, how he got here, why he cares about Atreides so much, why he treats Atreides kind of the way he does, and some of the psychological details that go into Kratos. You're starting here instead of going to the beginning. Some of the things Kratos did and dealing with those up to this point. There's just angles here. You can still do it, but you're going to be relying on so many flashbacks versus actually telling a cohesive, straightforward story, which centers on father and son protagonist Kratos and Atreides, and is one of PlayStation's biggest hits with 23 million sales. Yeah, it was a popular game. Very popular game. Now, God of War Ragnarok has critics, and I think criticisms to a game is very valid. I myself, personally, am not a huge God of War fan. I've never really played the games that much. I've seen the story, watched the story, seen gameplay. I think it's fun. I think it looks cool. However, I don't have a PlayStation. I'm not a PlayStation guy. I don't like the controllers. I don't like the interface. That's just me. I like my Switch. I have an Xbox. That's about it. I might get a PlayStation at some point. I am thinking of trying to do a God of War playthrough on the channel because most of the games now are on Steam. We'll think about it. That being said, the franchise is still huge. It's beloved, and you're going to be dealing with something. It won't be Lord of the Rings level. Well, yeah, it won't be as bad as that, but it's going to be worse than Wheel of Time. Let's be fair, because God of War is still as prolific as Wheel of Time, a lot of people know of Kratos. A lot of people know of these games because these games are AAA games that almost every gamer has heard of. So you are going to be dealing with something very specific. And if you do not live up to what you are about to say in all these phrases that I'm laying out, you will be criticized yet again. Unlike previous entries in the series, which were inspired by Greek mythology, the game and its sequel, God of War Ragnarok, are loosely based on Norse mythology. This we already know. And Amazon Studios head of television, Vermin Sanders, told Collider fans shouldn't expect the show to deviate far from the source material. I call bull. Now, that being said, there is a trick to this. There's a trick that several streaming services and several companies like Amazon have done, Netflix have done, several companies have done this, where season 1 is pretty good to really good, borderlining on great. Season 2 is where everything hits the fan, because they get you in. It's like a drug, essentially. You know, that first hit's always free. That first hit is always good, but subsequent hits are never as good as the first. They start going downhill. But now what they do here is, in first season, pretty good. Maybe sprinklings of craziness here and there, as one of the both the examples that they go to say how good Amazon has done with the things great that they have made, ignoring two things. But even in those first seasons, they had sprinklings of ideology and things like that, but they didn't go full into them. It was the second season of at least one of them, and we're waiting to see what happens to the second season of the other one, where they just said, F it, all aboard the train. Deviate far from the source material. We do incredibly well with adaptations. Have you now? Have you? Now, the two that you give as examples, yes, they have been, fans have loved them. I've liked one of them, even though it deviates from the source material in several ways. Kind of changes up some things here, maybe arguably for the better in some situations, because they go more into detail. But then fans like The Boys, but let's be real, you have deviated far from the source material. And no, it is woke stuff. It's full on woke. Now, your other example, The Invincible. You have changed source material. You have changed characters from the get-go. You have changed one major character. Well, not major. You have changed a minor character very majorly. Let's not lie here. Let's not lie and act like you didn't. You did. You changed the girlfriend completely. So don't act like you don't. Oh, we don't deviate from our source materials that much. No, you completely changed the girlfriend in Invincible, to the point that she was the most annoying part of the show. I liked almost everything else, but you radically changed her. From Invincible to The Boys. I mean, we just covered so many of them, right? And so we know that there's such a passionate fan base for God of War, he said. That's what they're going to try to prioritize. They're focusing on that first good season, that first season that's so great and fantastic, that's so similar to the source material, but deviates here or there. Maybe completely changes one character, but this character is more of a minor character and isn't in there for the entire series. Oh, maybe we change that. Maybe we do something here. Maybe we have this character say a line, but it's a side character, so it's not that big of a deal. That's what they do. That's their trick to these. That's why they have to point out, hey, we did good on Invincible. We did good on The Boys. These adaptations were good, right? Season 1 was good. Season 2 and 3, though, we don't talk about, because Season 2 of Invincible hasn't even happened. Season 2 and 3 of The Boys, well, Even the fans say they are good, let's be real, they are not good. They are really bad. And also point out, incredibly well with the adaptations. What are the two adaptations they're leaving out in all this? What two adaptations are they leaving out? Oh, that's right. Rings of Power and Wheel of Time. But hold your horses on Wheel of Time because, there's another aspect to all this. But the things that we're always looking for is whether there is a real emotional core, if there's a real narrative story. And I think that's part of what makes God of War so special. Yeah, but also you're starting in like the later half, not from beginning to end. You're not doing it right. So we don't know how long it's going to be between Ragnarok and the next game. So don't be doing that. According to the official show description, this basically just gives us a synopsis of 2018. That's what they put down here. When his beloved wife dies, Kratos sets off on a dangerous journey and estranged son. Kratos soon realizes the journey is an epic quest and disguise fate of the world. We already know all this. If you know the story for 2018, you kind of already know what the whole deal is. A bare bones story. Well, not 2018, but what the synopsis is. It's the bare bones version of the story. The show is a co-production between Amazon Studios and Sony Pictures Television in association with PlayStation Productions. Santa Monica Studios also involved. They are basically the leaders of God of War throughout the years. That is their pride and joy. So that's why I do have some optimism, but we're about to get into why I don't have any optimism at all. It's being adapted by showrunner Rafe Judkins. The Wheel of Time. Go back up. They're great at adaptations. Wheel of Time fans, how is your adaptation? Huh? How is your adaptation, guys? And writers Mark Furge and Hawk Osby. Children of Men, Iron Man, The Expanse. Now, The Expanse, okay, but from my understanding, kind of goes downhill the moment Amazon took over. They don't give you a satisfying ending. They don't do some things that they were setting up throughout the whole series. But, the show's over finally. All three are also serving as executive producers, as are Santa Monica Studio head Yumi Yang and creative director Cory Barlog. He's Balrog now. He's a Balrog. Yep, he's a flaming demon of dark shadow that has a whip. That's who he is now. This is the only light that I see here. Honestly, though, Children of Men and Iron Man, these guys might be able to write decently, but this is the main light that I see because this man, Wheel of Time, my God. And Wheel of Time writers are everywhere. They're now going over to Rings of Power. For crying out loud, there's a director who's worked on Wheel of Time that's going to be on Rings of Power. How worse can you make that show? At the center of this story, of father and sons. At the center of this story of father and sons and families set against this giant epic landscape. At the center of it all is this story of fathers and sons and families set against the giant epic landscape. Forgot a word. God damn dyslexia. Said Sanders. So when Rafe and Mark and Hawk have come up with the first season and for the series, I think is both incredibly true to the source material and also compelling on its own. What? Have come up with. So they've already wrote the first season. They've already created something for the first season. My God, please, please, please have Santa Monica Studios go over that whole thing with a fine-tooth comb. Protect your sword. Protect your IP, guys. You protect it with a... Protect it. If you've never played the game, you will fall in love with the show and feel very much invited in. So, we think it's going to be huge. Well, that's the opposite side to all this. So, let's say the show's good. You're going to convince people to go play the games, interact in the world more, and become more interested in the games and potentially the real lore. So that they know everything, because the games aren't that hard to get into. Well, they do have a paywall. Let's be real. They have a starting point. You need a PlayStation or a PC. That's the reality. That being said, if the show is crap, again, they can go play the game, see the real thing. So the game, Santa Monica and Sony are potentially going to see money go up. But to the people that like Kratos and God of War and everything from them, your live action version of Kratos might be crap. That being said, we still don't have casting. We have a bare bones basic outline of the story from God of War 18, but we do have a director and writer. So take it with a grain of salt, guys. Could be wrong. We could see something fantastic, but we could see something on par with Rings of Power of Wheel of Time, but I think it'll be more like season 1 of Invincible or season 1 of The Boys. So all that being said, guys, you have a wonderful time. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, leave a comment down below, subscribe to that channel, hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.